Hey everybody out there. This is a little game called Towerclimb, made by Davioware and Quasi. It's been out officially since November, I think. The game has been in development though for 6 years, and I purchased it when it was in beta in 2012, so it's definitely been a labor of love for the developers, and I think it shows. It's just it's a great looking game, and it oozes atmosphere. You know, it's got really low resolution pixel art, but that's what's great about it, because it leaves a lot to your imagination, like old school games. And I'm an old school gamer. I've been playing games since the early 80s on pretty primitive hardware. So, you know, there is something about, not that I don't appreciate high definition graphics, but there is something about pixel art and low resolution pixel art that just leaves so much to your imagination that you just get sucked into something far more than you would you know, with the world more fleshed out. It's almost like reading a book. Your imagination fills in these gaps and you get more of this personalized experience. As I spill water on myself. That was smart. Oh, that's quite a bit of water too. Anyway, I'm not going to show you the settings at first, because it is a rogue-lite, procedurally generated tower climbing adventure puzzler game. But, you know, in case you don't care, you might as well get into the game right away so you can see what it looks like and how it handles and things. You should care, though, because it is a great game, and you do get a lot of variety in the levels, so it's tough, but you never get bored. And here I've got a little bit of a freebie on the first level. You can ride these inflated bee or wasp nests up to the top of the level, sort of skipping a bunch. These levels are pretty wide open, and you can stop off to try to grab items that you think you may need. I'll grab this golden berry for sure. This is a currency of the game I'll be using at shops and things, so that's important to grab. But you know, that's where the risk and reward factor comes in with these simple levels. You hop on the balloon and you ride your way up, and sometimes there is juicy stuff that you're tempted to stop off for, and sometimes you can lose your ride, and then it's an expensive trip to the top because you've got to use a bunch of your items up. So we finished the bottom of the tower really easily. That's good. So each biome seems to have 3 levels so far. There's these pushable blocks. They don't seem to do much. I mean, there's certain isolated situations where they're useful, but it's not like Zelda or anything where they're integral parts of puzzles or something. Definitely get this berry. The game handles extremely well. The controls are very tight. The game could benefit from a dead zone on the analog stick. It does support analog controls, so you can see I can move a little bit, or I can move a lot, or I can hold down the run button to run. But sometimes my character will drift because I'm using a 360 controller, and I'm sure we're all familiar with the dead zone problems that you start getting on those after not long, 6 months or so of use. They're just not high quality pieces of hardware. So, you know, maybe I should be using digital control for this, but it probably works better with digital control, to be honest, but I'm just kind of lazy, I guess. Here's a witch. So witch will allow you to spend your currency. This is another dead zone gripe that I have, because the menus use the analog stick that I've got mapped to up and down, because I would never use the D-pad on a 360 controller. They're just unusable, frankly. But you see, I accidentally exited out of the menu there. It's really, really touchy. So see, I'm trying to get in there, but anyway, let's see, how many berries do I have? Oh, I have 4 golden berries. That's actually quite a bit for the second stage. The most important item to have in your possession is the revive pot. You can see at the bottom it's worth 4 berries. I have it. You can see the bottom on the left hand. So at the top you've got jump potions. Those let you do like a double, triple, or quadruple jump in midair. You can stack them on top of each other and store the jump bonus up. And then second after that is basically an explosive. You need that. Sometimes I'd say the jump potions are the things you want to conserve the most, followed by the explosives. So if you can get up using an explosive, or if there's an enemy that's just impassable, you can use explosive. And then you've got the green teleportation potion. It's slow to teleport. It's something that has been useful. It is useful if you can do it fast. And look at that, I'm to the top of the second tower already. But not as useful as a quick jump, I don't think, because it requires so much more consideration when you're talking about where to teleport with something that's so expensive. So here's a situation where I guess I'll use my spring to get up there. Do you think I can make this jump? Yeah, okay. No problem. Those that creature that's following me down there isn't harmful to me. It can be harmful if you're hanging from a wall or a ledge and they sting you. You can lose your grip, but they don't kill you. This is a one-hit game. Other than that, you don't have any hit points. You are extremely tiny and vulnerable in this really hazardous environment. Okay, so I could get up the other side. You can see my character can't quite reach the ledge there, and that's how the game is designed. I can reach the top, so that doesn't really help me at all to get anywhere from here. You cannot climb on these flat stones. You can climb up the sides of them, but you cannot hang from the bottom of them. There's just not enough grip there, so that is a little bit of a puzzle element to look for. So I'm going to spend one of my jump potions, I think, because the other side, unless those dogs have jumped down, nope, they're still there. That just looks too hazardous, so I'm going to use my jump potion to get up here. Now, it's a shame there's a berry there, because I want it badly, but I don't want to waste my resources getting over there to get it. Ooh, there's spikes right on that chest. I almost didn't see that. I was almost just tempted to jump on it and grab it, and that would have been the end of me. You do get one revive. That's what the revive potion is for, so it's kind of like a second life. This is going to be scary. So I guess you have 2 hit points. It definitely feels like you don't, because you only, I don't know, but I guess you do. You can actually buy another revive potion for 4 golden berries, like I said, but you cannot buy more than 1. So you are only limited to 2 lives at a time. And really, once you lose that first revive, your death is not far behind. You're gonna blow it, because you already got careless, right? So I can't really sneak up here either, which is just a bust. I could start throwing bombs, but if I threw bombs at that spike trap, what would happen would the spikes... Ooh, someone just hit a blastberry up there, a little doggy. The spikes would fly out from the block and potentially hit me and kill me. So that's not really an option. So I'll do the jump, turn it, I'll stack it on myself here, jump up, do the double jump, grab the wall, get up there. Another treasure chest, nice. These are not that common. Ooh, leather gloves. This is good. This gives me a boost to my climbing speed, which I much prefer to the boots that you can get, which give you a boost to the walking speed, which I just find introduces more danger. I'd rather take it slow. There's a dog on top of a chest, but I have a crate, I'm sorry, and there's a crafter down there to the left. You can see him wobbling away. Ooh. I better get through this door. Oof, that dog almost got me. There is crafting in this game. You can give him items and things like that. I'm not into that right now. It's probably useful, but I don't have, a tablet or anything near me to reference a Wikipedia article and this kind of shit in order to craft things. I kind of just like the arcade experience, but it's there for you if you want it. They don't show up that often. so it's not something I feel is essential for getting good at the game. There are lots of ways I think that you could get good at this game. It's just there's so much variety and so much going on and so much to think about that you know, you could be a Twitch player or you could be a methodical player, and you really have to have both of those. You have to think before you act in this game, and I didn't think this time that maggot is going to come down here. I'm going to have to kill this thing. 2 of them now. Wow. Okay, they're down below me now. They do get exhausted from flying upwards, so you can evade them that way. That was just lucky, though, and there's another maggot that's going to hatch, so I better move up above it. You can see I'm glowing with purple there. I still have a jump stack, which is going to be really handy right here. Just jump over there, grab another jump berry, and here's our exit. And a maggot right there. We'll avoid that. So pretty good so far. Finding the gloves is especially rare this early, so that's good. So now we're in the second biome, and the game is about to apply some time pressure to me here. There are certain levels that force you to move fast. They're not quite as puzzly, and they don't have as many enemies as the other ones, but in this case there's lava coming up from the bottom of the level. Here's a... Nope, I'm sorry, it's a worm chasing me. That's even worse. These things are absolutely devastating. Christ, I mean, what am I supposed to do? Okay. I have no jump potions left too, so I'm blowing it there. Try to kill this thing, I guess. Fuck. I'm dead. Okay. That's alright. After the hatchery, which you just saw, I've only gotten to the 3rd biome. There are 3 levels through per biome, I believe, and there are warp gates type things you can go through with interesting levels there to explore. But after this is the aviary, where there's tons of... It's more of a jungle environment, I guess you could say. And it just... The game has a high skill ceiling. So, be warned. We're gonna stop this, and I'll just sort of talk about the game a little bit, and also show you what's going on in the settings. So, like I said, it's a pretty primitive game. I would urge DaviOware to improve some of this because it's just archaic, and I've been playing games since the early 80s. I know what early interface designs looked like when the world was full of experimentation when it came to computing, and DaviOware seems to have certainly taken us back to that nostalgic era here. It does support full analog control, like I mentioned, but it definitely needs a dead zone. It's way too touchy. Sometimes you can find your character drifting right or left, and sometimes the menu system with the shops and stuff will exit you because your character will just walk left because your 360 controller sucks, and they all do after about 6 months or so. You can rebind anything. You might be better off with digital controls. Analog on I have here. I did set it to off, but with it off and the drift on my analog stick and the touchy dead zone, the character would just fly in some cases off to the left. So DaviOware, dead zone, please. The D-pad on the 360 controller is atrocious, so that's something I would like to see. You can bind all the buttons for all this stuff. The controls themselves are not that intuitive. You can get used to them, but in order to pick up an item, you hold down run. So that's kind of like Mario when you think about it. To pick up shells and stuff, you held down run. So it's not bad to combine buttons, but then to store an object in your inventory while you're holding it, pressing the run button, you have to press the store button at the same time. This can be confusing at first, but you do get over it. And then you have to be ducking to drop an item at your feet, otherwise when you recall it from your inventory, if you're not holding the run button, you'll throw it. If you are holding the run button, your character will carry it in his hand, until you have to hold the run button when you have the sword to jump and swing the sword, and it's just kind of like almost like the game was designed to be mapped to an NES controller by combining all these elements. You know, give us a couple more buttons, guys. I think the game would probably benefit from that. Advanced auto cling, and you can invert run, which I wouldn't recommend, because if you were running all the time, you are either way better at this game than me, or you just don't care about surviving. I don't know what this is talking about, because I have to constantly be holding towards the wall when I'm playing, so I don't know what auto cling is about. Not that I don't mind holding against the wall. The game is incredibly suspenseful once you master the controls and once you get far. It's that roguelike experience where you just know that you're dangling from the ledge and you're just contemplating your next move, and you know that everything is on the line. And I think that this game just perfectly captures that. Let's try again here. We'll see what the RNG does to us. To climb is to live. I used to climb trees when I was a little boy, I guess, probably up until the age of 12 or 13. I would just constantly be climbing these trees in our backyard. We had quite a few pine trees, so I'd be covered in sap by the end of it. I'm going to try to conserve resources here. And a dogwood tree as well, and I would just spend all day climbing up and down those things. Oh, there's a rat coming. I gotta get out of there. Do we have any berries? Why am I even talking to this guy? Okay. Now you see I'm being a little bit more liberal with my items here. Do you think I should grab that berry? I think I'm gonna go for it. Oh, geez, why? You see? That's Towerclimb. It's gonna get you. That's too bad. One other thing that I did forget to mention was the log. This is kind of cool. It'll sort of like time maps all your runs. You can see you improving, or in my case, just kind of being scattered all over the place. Oh, you can see it. There's a concentration around 900 near the beginning, and then there's, some peaks and stuff over here. Each character has a randomly generated name and things like that, and it's fun to, I think, yeah, it stores a little picture of them dying, so that's definitely a cool feature. Look at it, it shows the trajectory of your fall on a falling death and stuff like that. This was the one where, is this the one? That must have been right by the door. I was just about to escape this jungle biome, and I was right by the door, and a dog or something there woke up and got me. It was incredibly frustrating. It's also got these cards to collect for all the ways to die. I have only collected, 20% of them, so I think that there's a ton of content in this game. I don't know how deep it goes. I know that it goes really deep, and beyond the biomes that I've seen, I've also seen warp gate levels. Like there's a carnival games, a thing where this perverse carnival guy puts you through the ropes of collecting coins while he spits lava through things at you. It's very difficult, but it allows you to skip a bunch of levels and things like that. There's one that is a tower that's broken, so the lightning from the outside, you can climb on the outside of the tower in the rain and risk being struck by lightning, and there are spirits and stuff flowing through the tower. So there's a lot of variety here. You've got the basic tool set. It doesn't have a huge number of items, but the way that those items combine and the way that the suspense that the game generates by just putting you in these situations where you know you have to execute a move perfectly, or you have screwed yourself. It's just, it's brilliant. Aside from the technical problems that I've mentioned, if you can get past that, and I know they're still working on the game, like I said, it's a labor of love, and I think so there probably will be an update still, but it's a really good game right now already, so I would check it out if you have any interest from seeing this. So I'm Mike, and maybe I'll do some more videos of this game in the future. Well, I'm probably gonna cover a couple of games that I've checked out recently that remind me of Spelunky, and I really enjoy that sort of arcade procedural generation stuff. That's it. I hope you check it out. It's really expensive right now. I think it's $16.99. It may have been cheap during the sale, so it's too bad that I didn't get to this video before then if you're just checking this out. But even at $16.99, it looks primitive, but this game is just absolutely packed with content and atmosphere and charm, and it just doesn't get much better than this. You know, the pixel art is low resolution, but that really works because it leaves a lot to your imagination, which lets you get sucked into the game, unlike games that focus on photorealism or even a high resolution cartoon look where they're trying to impose a certain style on you. Games with a pixel style have an abstractness to them where you start to use your own imagination to fill in the blanks and stuff, and I think that really works in this game, and you feel so tiny as this insignificant little pixelated character climbing around in this sprawling environment full of really neat lighting effects and stuff like that. I mean, it may be primitive as far as its pixel count, but as far as post effects and shaders and stuff, I think it really does a nice job. So yeah, that's Towerclimb by DavioWare. Check it out, and perhaps, yeah, subscribe to my channel here, and I'll probably be covering more games like this, and probably do a Towerclimb video or two in the future as well. Okay, take care everyone, bye bye.